Hello. I should be good to go now. I had to fiddle with my settings a little bit to get everything positioned on my screen. This is going to be my first playthrough of Heaven Will Be Mine. I know very little about this game, except that it was made by the same team that did We Know the Devil, but this is a little bit more sci-fi, and I think it's a little bit more adult than We Know the Devil was as well. And that's about the full extent of my knowledge. I was also told that this is longer last time that I was streaming, that the first playthrough might be as long as the full game of We Know the Devil. So I might finish the first route today. I might not. I think it depends on how indecisive I am and how much I'm able to read, because I am going to read it out loud, because that's the appeal of playing a visual novel for me. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. Okay, let's see. Who do we have here? So we get to choose our pilot. Faction Celestial Mechanics Self-Ship String of Pearls. Celestial Mechanics Reserve Test Pilot wants to advance humanity to its next stage, and Saturn wants to flirt, but there's no reason we can't do both. Button mashing and button mashing. Okay, so I am going to actually need to do playing. Luna Terra, Memorial Foundation, Self-Ship Mare Christium. Memorial Foundation Ace Pilot, fighting for the pilots to join the rest of humanity back on Earth before it's too late. Good at sniping, espionage, double-crossing, and ghosting. Bad at loving herself and everything else. Aw, that's so sad. And then we have Pluto. Cradle's Graces, Self-Ship Croon Macula. The ultimate weapon pilot. Even if Earth has given up on a new life for humanity in space, Cradle's Graces hasn't. And Pluto will make that dream come true. Like succulents, good girls, crushing, both kinds, everyone, as trying very hard not to have any dislikes. Who do I want to start as? I mean, this is the lame reason to pick it, but the default that it starts you out as Saturn, so that's probably just what I'm going to do, because that makes logical sense in my brain. So we are going to start off with them. Welcome Provisional Test Pilot Saturn. Your clearance is level 1, testing and maintenance. Potential damage to cockpit hardware detected. Modifying or tampering with cockpit hardware and/or firmware is strictly prohibited. Saturn, what are you doing? Notice, bypass override accepted. Launch attempt blocked. No handshake with base. Oh, hey Mercury. Not much. Launch attempt blocked. Base handshake spoof detected. Just hacking the OS root of this ship self. You? Base handshake and a bunch of button mashing that I'm not going to read out loud. Base handshake accepted. Trying to stop some brat from hijacking the prototype, apparently. Emergency launch override initiated. Prepare for launch in T-minus 120 seconds. Calm down, Mercury. I'm just borrowing it. I am not debating. I am trying to save your life. The commander will be furious, and he won't just accept you stealing the Cornerstone project from the designated pilot. It's not a big deal. I'll have it back before you know it. This is privileged information, but the designated pilot has to launch right this second to get the machine back to Earth before they get here. This is the worst possible time. It couldn't be worse if you planned it. Everyone in the system suddenly somehow knows the base's location, and they're heading here now. User launch override blocked. Denied by base. Oh, wow. Weird. How did that happen? User launch override blocked. Denied by base. User launch override blocked. Denied by base. You planned it, didn't you? You forgot an apostrophe. Base override. Remote shutdown in 30 seconds. No one can prove anything, especially not the designated pilot unconscious in locker 27. Whoops, looks like they're trying to kick me out, huh? Saturn, I know you're mad, but you can't do this when they catch you. It's going to be so bad. Can you just please act like you're just pranking them? There's still time. I will beg them. Such a worrywart. You've got hours to evacuate to the capital ship. They'll never engage you this far from base, and I'll be distracting them. I have it all figured out. Except for how you're going to do anything at all to accomplish that with everyone trying to kill you. Base override. Remote shutdown in 20 seconds. Saturn. Try to have a little faith. Base override. Remote shutdown in 15 seconds. Saturn. Calm down, geez. It doesn't take a genius to drive one of these things to the moon. Who cares which one of us does it? Or do you think I can? Base override. Remote shutdown in 10 seconds. That is not the issue. The commander cares, and you know better than anyone what he's like. Base override. Remote shutdown in 9 seconds. Iapetus will just have to get used to it. LOL. Base override. Remote shutdown in 8 seconds. Saturn, what are you trying to prove? Base override. Remote shutdown in 7 seconds. Base override. Remote shutdown in 6 seconds. So much, Mercury. Base override. Remote shutdown in 5 seconds. But give me a little credit. Base override. Remote shutdown in 4 seconds. Base override. Remote shutdown in 3 seconds. I have much higher ambitions than just being a bitch. IFF sequence missing. Base override canceled. I almost got worried for a sec. LOL. Welcome, assigned pilot. Full permissions granted. Saturn, I'm going to die, and it will be your fault. Oh, come on. I'll get this to the moon safe and sound. And let the Severance project be complete. I'll be very good, maybe, and do everything I'm supposed to, maybe. I know I'm the second choice, but they'd rather have that than nothing, right? Very generous of me, isn't it? They will not accept that. They'll sort of have to, though, won't they? If Command didn't want me to steal one, they shouldn't have benched me indefinitely. Emergency launch initiated. Let me know when he starts admitting it. Hostile launch. Catapult locks on. High risk of damage to your ship self. Jeez, now they're just being needy. Mercury, isn't it just the worst when someone who doesn't care anymore starts clinging just because you found someone new? Prepping weapon systems. Electrotoxin levels surging. Weapons operational. So gross. LOL. Emergency launch initiated. I can't believe I really did it. I really did it. Everyone who said if I was good, I'd get the chance again, sure was a liar. I got away, and I've got a ship, and she's all mine. You're beautiful. I want to know everything about you. I miss this so much. Much better than the test machines when I was in the academy. She is beautiful. She's a wicked machine with a lot of secrets, and just as giddy as her pilot to be free. She's extremely responsive, eager to do everything Saturn wants. You're even worth reading the manual for. What's in you? You're not hiding anything from me, are you? But Saturn already knows everything in the manual, and more. It's a very cagey document that doesn't do the ship justice, and is certainly hiding something. There's plenty of information on how to use her electromagnetic poisons and how to cheat distance and gravity, and all of that is fun, but none of that tells her the first thing about how to be a ship. This is useless. How can this help diagnose anything when they don't know the first thing about being a ship? So wrong. Way too dry. That's not what it's like at all. It's a body that's also a soul. It means exactly what it is. That's why it's small, curved in wicked edges in some places, but curved in soft ways elsewhere. Sharp claws and deadly tail, but cute enough to hug. So perfectly suited for Saturn, one has to understand exactly why they wouldn't give it to her.
Really perfect. Fits better than a human body. That's reason enough to disobey everyone and run off with it, isn't it? Oh, speaking of, more threatening emails from Iapetus. Missing me already. I gave him a perfectly good deal. For someone who always goes on about mutually beneficial arrangements, he's really having trouble seeing the big picture. In the time it takes him to realize that, I'm sure I can find something fun to do in this system. Time to test you out. See if it's really true. Can you give me everything I want, down to the last drop? It's January 1st, 1980, and the long and cold war where humanity united against its nemesis, an existential threat from beyond the stars, has been over for a long time. Since the 50s, we have been fighting a war against an existential threat that we cannot understand, cannot perceive, and is powerless against the technology of Earth. It's a pretty stupid sort of war to fight, isn't it? When there's enough of a mess down here to worry about. Humanity is already the undisputed authority of reality, and we have the physics to prove it. It's time to return to Earth, our home, the seat of the universe. Before Earth takes us back in pieces, let's go home with grace. On the first anniversary of the decommissioning of the International Space Program, we, Memorial Foundation Native Sphere Existential Safety, in agreement with our home planet's unanimous decision, declare, there is no future for humanity in space. Let's come home. The Return Resolution, Memorial Foundation Native Sphere Existential Safety. It's January 1st, 1981. It's been 1 year since we declared independence from Memorial Foundation and the rest of Earth. The Cold War is officially over. And it feels so light without their gravity weighing us down. How can a tiny handful of colonies, terraformers, and schools hold out against the full authority of Earth? Because that shit doesn't fly past escape velocity. To power the ship selves we made to fight the Cold War, we made tidal resonators to bring the gravity necessary for humans and culture to survive in space. And that gravity is ours now. Enough to make a new world free from the weight of Earth. If Memorial Foundation wants to kill the future, they'll have to come and take it from us. We're thankful for our cradle's graces, but we're not coming back. Independence Declaration, Cradle's Graces. It's January 25th, 1981. Memorial Foundation and Cradle's Graces have been having fun for a little over a year, and nothing is breaking the stalemate. Earth is getting impatient. They have good reason to believe that the existential threat posed by a divided humanity in space is much greater than any theoretically malevolent entity outside the native sphere. While the kids are fighting, Earth is getting ready to list the humans remaining in space as part of the existential threat. And when they do, they'll send real weapons and end this war fought with plastic toys. Their justification? We're technically less than 100% human, just not human enough to do something else. It's hard to believe they're really onto us. It's time to take a drastic move. Bring our final piece, the prototype ship self, string of pearls, we made in the atmosphere of planet Kronos, which will never be Saturn, to the lunar gravity well, where Memorial Foundation and Cradle's Graces are already headed. Whoever controls that place controls human access to space. We can be sure everything will be in place there. Earth or space, we are just short of 100% human. So let's see how much less than 100% we can get. Internal report, Celestial Mechanics. All right, that was a lot of lore. So we have Saturn Return and Joyride Killjoy. And then we have this log over here on the side. Let's go ahead and read that. So your apparent promotion, Celestial Mechanics Division Lead, author Iapetus. Good job, Saturn. There's no point in being angry with you, so I'll choose to be proud of you instead. I'll refrain from having you sunk, since that's counterproductive to our intentions of that unit. You were a reserve candidate after all, so you'll do fine. Try not to make it too much of a pain in the ass for me. I'll have Mercury reassigned to you since he apparently doesn't have a say in the matter. How nostalgic. The two of you had so much potential. Well, he knows how to do his job at least. Do your best to not get the string of pearls sunk. We'll absolutely wash you out of the biological interface and reassign you permanently if we get the chance. So prove you're competent enough, and neither of us will have wasted our time. Iapetus. Probably should have read the earlier email before that one, but... truce ending effective immediately. From the Native Sphere Mass Communication. And the author was the Memorial Foundation Existential Safety. To all members of the former Memorial Foundation Native Sphere Existential Research Division, now known as Celestial Mechanics. This message serves as a formal acknowledgement that this branch has violated our trust and broken the provisions of the 1981 Memorial Foundation Consensus by violating Clause 3, the development of a variable gravity engine, and Clause 7, installations of a variable gravity engine into the ship's self-string of pearls. Celestial Mechanics will no longer be listed as part of the Memorial Foundation. They will be formally relisted as an independent entity and considered a true existential threat by Memorial Foundation Native Sphere Existential Safety. We are still offering forgiveness, so please defect as soon as possible. While the appeal grace period is still in effect, please, otherwise expect tidal retaliation for existential endangerment of human culture. Halimede, Princess, Memorial Foundation Native Sphere Existential Safety. All right, and then we have comms. Don't talk to me. Okay, so Mercury is described as a boy in space on purpose, consummate bridge bunny, not responsible for Saturn. All right. You literally messaged me first, you nerd. OMG. Oh, and then Saturn is insufferable horror creature, forward all complaints to Mercury. That's pretty funny. And then get called a harpy. Come on, BB. I'm sorry. What can I do to make it up to you? Give back the ship. Come on. I'm obviously not doing that. Please. I'm begging you. Listen to reason. You have so much left to live for. Oh, Mercury. Come on. We both know that's not true. What do you want from me? A list of girls who will shoot me out of orbit. God. Anyways, don't be a crybaby. I'm fine. Saturn, you are extremely wrong if you think that there is a chance I am at all worried about you. If you come back, all will be forgiven, but you need to bring it back. Mercury, it's fun playing, but I don't think you've been listening at all. Mercury, it's not that ship anymore. It's me. Mercury, you wouldn't ask me to give up my own self, would you? I'm sailing on a ship of myself now. And I'm not giving it up until gravity drags me back, kicking and screaming. I can't deal with you. Aw, thank you, BB. Kiss, kiss. You are a nightmare, and I'm giving up trying to save you from yourself. I love you. I hate you so much. You can't stay mad at me. I can't, and it's horrible. But my revenge will come because literally everyone else in the universe can. Oh, darn. Guess I should have fun while it lasts. Saturn, if you defect, I cannot protect you. Iapetus is furious, and he's going to come personally for you if you don't come back. I told you I'd do all the missions. What, don't you believe me? LOL. Obviously not. LOL. Fair. Okay, let me ask this. Do you think I'd give up on the Aversion project? Go on. Iapetus wanted us to fight for a new self beyond a ship self, but not even get a taste until the end? Fuck that. My house now. Tell me which of the two of us you trust less, Mercury. Channel closed, but who closed it? Did Mercury ditch, or did we reject the... conversation. Okay, then we have this alignment. Oh, interesting. So I'm guessing the choices that we make are going to impact how we end up aligning on this tri-point axis. That's just has to do with my computer. This, I'm guessing, is like autosave data. Okay, so we're determining which of these two missions we're going to select. We have Saturn Return and Joyride Killjoy. Saturn Return says, in the strange gravity of the abandoned Daphnis lab, Saturn lies in wait for the looming threat of Pluto's mysterious ship. But what are they after, and what will they get? Or, weaving in and out of the sixth planet's rings, Memorial Foundation's ace, Lunaterra, plays cat and mouse with the renegade ship thief Saturn. So that's one of the 3 characters that we got to choose from the start point. So the question is, do I continue with the Mercury, or no, actually that was Pluto. In my head it said Mercury, but it says Pluto. So we're gonna either meet one of the 2 other characters that we didn't choose. I think I'm gonna go with Saturn Return. I'm gonna have to remember that later, that this is what I picked. What do you mean I can feel her presence? Please do not try to sound that cool. I can feel her presence. Everyone can feel her presence. I can feel it right now. How could you possibly ignore something like that? Shut up. I mean, I can feel it physically. Oh. Wait, what? Like how? Like, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. It's like I'm spinning upside down and can't stop. Are you sure you haven't somehow concussed yourself or given yourself gravity sickness from all the damage you've managed to inflict on yourself in the past 12 hours? Yes, and it's on top of all that. And also, shut up. String of Pearls is feeding me sensory information on the direct line. I'm a human being with 5 senses, and she's trying to cram a dozen more into me. By direct line, you are in fact talking about the extremely creepy physical interface connection between you and the String of Pearls, correct? It really, really is, right? It's truly incredible how we agree about everything and still feel the opposite about it. Is this why you keep hesitating before giving me intel? Yes, because you're going to do the opposite of what you should do with it. But I also can't not tell you, because you might die, so running support for you is an incredibly anxiety-inducing affair. Must be hard. Thank you for acknowledging it. So you gonna tell me what's after me? You've already figured it out, haven't you? But yes, it's that Cradle Grace's masterwork. Celestial Mechanics traded the knowledge for how to finish String of Pearls in exchange for what they needed to finish the Krun Macula. It would be pretty funny if they got us this way in the end. It's headed directly to the lab. We've already evacuated on the capital ship, but you are its highest priority. Should I play bait? If anything, it's more important for you to get back to the native sphere first. In order for us to make contact, we need the String of Pearls. We believe if you hide in the abandoned Daphnis lab, you can use the decaying gravity furnace for cover. That's sensible. Bait sounds like a lot of fun, you know? Really? Oh, come on. Iapetus must think their pilot is a real idiot if she's going to waste her time on a wild goose chase like that. He wouldn't just sacrifice you like that. He would. There must be backups for making contact. Just because I'm the easiest option doesn't mean I'm the only one. He's testing to see if I'm worth investing in or just going to get myself killed. Why run? Why not have it out with her? I bet she's thinking the same thing too. Be careful, Saturn. If you can tell what they're thinking, they can tell what you're thinking. Please. If I really could do something like that, they wouldn't have kicked me out of the pilots. Then how do you know the pilot's a she? Because boys can't pilot. Daphnis, the tiny shepherd moon. So small it barely earns the name, tumbles through the Keller Gap, ruffling the rings of the planet it orbits. It houses the last official laboratory of Earth's decommissioned space program, training ground of failures like Saturn, and special girls like Pluto. Saturn remembers it feeling cramped, anxious, and scary. No, wait. Pluto remembers it that way. Saturn remembers when it used to feel so special to be chosen, a candidate for the last generation of pilots. Oh, welcome in, sus. But didn't Pluto feel that way too? Sometimes two things are true. In this place, gravity is quietly degenerating and distances are becoming ambiguous between past and present, between me and you. The Daphnis lab seems smaller to Saturn now, though not as tiny as it feels to Pluto, and that's obvious. No longer people-sized, she tears through it like worms in an apple. But there's so much bigger worm here, and she doesn't know anymore if this was a good idea, or what was a good idea. Saturn doesn't have any ideas. She's just trying to hide. Even though there's no place where you cannot be felt by me. Okay, we have an alert. Tidal residence IFF confirms enemy. Warning. Gravitational hazard. Danger. Pressure exceeding safe range. I know it's extremely exciting. Stop making me so nervous. Supermassive. Small enough to hide in this complex, but with a dual reactor denser than the entire moon compressed into the head of a pin. An hour ago, and Saturn felt the gravitational pull of something so big and so close and so powerful the interior of her cockpit creaked with the pressure, and her head, heart, and eyes welled up with tears. Something that couldn't be anyone other than Pluto. Cool. She must be pretty big, huh? So why is she so hard to find? Well, you made it, at least. Saturn has no idea. Why do I have the feeling someone's laughing at me? No one is laughing at Saturn. The lab's been abandoned for years. But Pluto, wherever she is, giggles. Not in a mean way. She really does think it's cute. Haven't thought about Pluto in a long time. Oh man, it really would be funny if she was in that monster. Well, now someone is laughing at Saturn. Hey, now I know someone's here. I can feel you listening, but I can hear you too, and I can catch you. You're not the only one who can fuck with the narrative. Okay, so we're at our first choice point. Well, aside from like choosing which of these missions to do first. So narrow escape, loyal, outcome favors celestial mechanics, and mutually assured destruction, outcome favors cradle's graces. Okay, I don't remember what all was what anymore because that was a lot of lore that we had all at once. Let's see. And there isn't a way to look that up. So I could just blind decide instead of making an informed decision. What do I think Saturn would do? How do I think Saturn will play? What are you wanting to know? Oh, I was wanting to know because they're saying, you know, because we have that graph chart that's like the alignment grid, and there's the 3 different factions. I don't remember what factions are what anymore because we had so many pages of text to read at the very beginning. Saturn is a brat who wants to make out with cute girls. Yeah. So the 2 factions we have here are either Celestial Mechanics or Cradle's Graces. I think Celestial Mechanics is the organization that Saturn theoretically, the organization that was supposed to have ownership of this self-ship that she should be following orders for to make Mercury happy. And Cradle's Graces is something else, but I don't remember what they do. Okay, so celestial mechanics is become the alien. Cradle's Graces is a new home in space. And Memorial Foundation is conforming Neolib. You are all grounded. Okay. Well, how could I say no to become the alien? So that's what we're going to do. Come on, Pumpkin. You can't be on the keyboard. And I think she clicked something. So I guess Pumpkin in the end was the one who got to make a choice. And I didn't even see which one it was. It's easiest to not get caught if you don't care about catching anything. It's just about knowing there isn't a difference. And focusing deeper. And focusing deeper. You were just up here, sweetie. Please. The real celestial mechanics, the interactions of body and space via the forces of gravity. The weight of mass and culture. Explained by the story behind them. That's just the science. With your own gravity, reach out and pull. Good girl. You know just what to do. Do you like what you caught? The Krun Macula towers over Saturn. Pluto's ship is so big it barely feels massive and... Pumpkin, I can't see. We have to pause for Kat to decide where she wants to sit. Thank you. Now I can see. Okay. The Krun Macula towers over Saturn. Pluto's ship is so big it barely fits the Clab complex, but it's only a speck compared to how big it feels. Massive enough to warp local space-time, humming and vibrating with nebula dust, and absolutely effortlessly gentle. Without Pluto's most delicate touch, the Krun Macula would have destroyed Saturn and the whole complex without even trying. How much do you trust it? I knew you'd be right behind me or something. If you did, how come you're not facing this way? I'm an idiot, I guess? You've come a long way. Just to be an idiot, you must know exactly what this ship can do, right? Did you come to fight me on purpose? It's really brave and really cute. If you can touch me, I can touch you. So, I'm not getting close. You come all this way, not even to fight? Oh, that's not cute at all, but it's smart. Hey, don't underestimate me. I'm scary. You think? Maybe I believe you. Cute things can also be scary. But I'm curious now. I was worried you were going to waste your chances, smug in your new machine. But you're pretty clever. You want to talk without fighting? If you're good. Otherwise, I'll bite. So, what did you want to talk about? As Cradle Grace's glittering psychic death machine, you definitely have more important things to do than go out of your way to bully me for no reason, right? Oh, that's right. That and Man and Fleet are escaping, aren't they? Hope you don't mind falling for this trap. Trap? You? Silly. I know you're more important than that. More than catching the rest of the Celestial Mechanics fleet? I knew this would be fun. And you knew it too. I'm absolutely delighted about you doing that, just to be clear. So, you don't have to read my mind or roast me about it. I can't read minds. You know that's not how it works. But I also don't need to know that. But I did want to know how the biggest overachiever of my juniors turned into such a bad girl. If you really remembered me, you'd remember I wasn't ever good. I do remember you. Even if you're not that good at being bad, do you know what you're doing with that machine that's so dangerous we don't even want to find out what it does? I think you answered your own question about why I'm keeping it. Are you going to stop me then? But you don't want to. Hey, stop. Don't pry into me. If you're pitying me, I'll make you regret it. Not all of us come out perfect like you. Some of us get thrown out before they see any use at all. I won't pity you. I really would have torn this machine apart. But now that I'm here, gifted little mutant to gifted little mutant, I can't bear to. Because some of us just haven't been thrown out yet. Lab-grown girls like us should stick together. I might still make you regret it. Winning isn't my most important task. It's not yours either. You sure about that? You're not who I'm worried about. It's only your boss I can't forgive. Oh, I love hearing that. Tell me more. I'm getting a crush already. Regretting it now? Don't worry. There's nothing you can make me regret. Alright, so celestial mechanics want to become the monstrous other that the cisnormatives heteronormatives fear. Cradle's Graces want to have their cool robots in space and drag everyone around, or everyone who wants to join them up to play. Memorial Foundation thinks Earth is too powerful and everyone should come back home and abandon their cool robots before they get in trouble or dead. Saturn trying the "what's a gorgeous girl like you doing in a place like this" line, and the cyber new type versus regular psychic new type, if you know any Gundam. I know very little Gundam. I watched some Gundam Wing when it was on, it wasn't Adult Swim, it was on the afternoon, not Toonami, the afternoon block. I can't remember anything right now. So I watched very little. I did watch Razafon, which is a different mecha anime. But I don't think that'll help me here. Okay, so Pumpkin did choose Celestial Mechanics. She didn't move the keyboard that badly. Thanks, Pumpkin. We've got new messages from Mercury. Mercury, listen, it's an emergency. I'm sorry about everything, but it's important. You have to tell Commander that I'm getting so laid. I'm logging off. Bye. I was not fooled for even a second that this would be useful. Really? Not even for a second? I no longer experience hope as a concept. You freed me from it. Now stop, I'm blushing. What do you want from me, Saturn? Do you know any discreet places to make out in on Aries? Goodbye, Saturn. Also, here's the test output to date. Goodbye. Aren't you going to read me the data analysis? If it is indeed data you're sending this time and not just nudes. That's rude. I always ask before I send them to you. I don't mind acting as the official art director of Saturn's nudes since you need it so badly and it's substantially less tedious than data analysis. But if you were as punctual about sending data as cockpit selfies, I would have a lot more data to report. Why are you so incredulous all the time? You stole the prototype, might I remind you? You can't just continue the field testing as if nothing happened. Why not? Because why would you do anything you didn't want to do? That is such a funny emoji. To be honest, letting a cat trample the keyboard to make important decisions is very Saturn core. Shocking lack of fan art of Saturn's cockpit selfies, to be honest. What are you planning? Ugh, fine. They've been dying for it anyway. Cool. How'd I do? This is not bad. It's pretty useful. He typed through tears. Don't rub it in. I can't believe your ship self's expanded so much already. What have you been doing with it? I think I have been hinting very clearly how. I instantly regret this question. You're supposed to test the prototype in combat. Same difference. I can't believe we invented a ship designed to get into trouble and didn't think, oh, Saturn is the obvious choice for this. We both know why. You were an even more obvious choice than me. Fuck Iapetus for throwing us both out like trash. Come on, aren't you a little happy to see a pretty little havoc in this perfect garden? I'll be looking forward to you collecting new data. Attaboy. Alright. So we have new mail. Yeah, he sounds like a real piece of work. Pilot Candidate 007 Mercury interviews. Memorial Foundation Celestial Mechanics extracted. Generation 3 pilot intake. Don't worry, it's just a checkup. Historically untrustworthy scenario. It's just questions, I promise. It's not really a great way to set my mind at ease. Let's just answer the questions, okay, wise guy? Fine. Have you experienced a sense of vertigo or loss of balance for a period lasting more than 2 minutes in the last month? No. Have your eating habits changed at all recently? No. No. Mercury. Work with me, please. Why? You work with me. If I absolutely promise neither I nor anyone else will do anything at all to stop you from being exactly who you want or from whatever changes you need, will you at least answer my questions? Sometimes. Maybe. Okay, it's good enough for me. We're just curious if it's a side effect of life in space, or the educational programming of Dr. Nix, or in reference to the behavior of Iapetus. No, that's backwards. Everyone else seems to get to do whatever they want without limits in space. Why is it weird when I do it? We want to test for the effects of space alone, so self-induced changes have to be controlled for. Don't ask what's in my endocrine system. It's my endocrine system. Fine. It's testosterone, and I put it there because I wanted it there. Is that enough? Well, I guess that is what I needed to know. If you promise not to ask me about it again, I'll give you all the data I cataloged about the changes. Okay, I get it. You're starting to get it. Stop treating me like a girl, and I'll know you've really got it. Subject. Recommended tactics. Extracted from Nereid OS, Ship Self String of Pearls documentation. The String of Pearls is configured for specific outward expressions of gravity, tidal forces. The dissonant rhythm of this reactor makes peaceful tidal communication risky and difficult. Be cautious despite the range and penetration this unit is capable of. The electromagnetic conductors have liquefied the electrical energy into a corrupting material, a form of theoretical matter that should be used as the primary engagement tool. As a seducer-saboteur model, the unit's functions are inherently insidious. Rather than armor, the plastics are infinitely malleable and regenerate. It is safer to take damage head-on as opportunity to infect rather than avoid, but the unit can be contained, restrained, and impeded physically and tidally. Alright, so this mission's complete, so we're going to this one. A boy in space on purpose. Alright. Please tell me how long you're going to be engaged in this. May I stress again, incredibly dangerous, giant waste of time. Till they start sending someone interesting after me, Mercury. The whole fleet would be after you if you hadn't damaged the entire launch hangar when you stole that. Could they even take me while I'm flying this thing? No. But it won't stop him from trying. And let me stress this info packet is a gift purely to prevent your ship self from falling into enemy hands, and not an indication of any sort of forgiveness. This mission makes more sense if it occurs before the other one. Yeah, they should have thought about that before they put it on the bottom of the screen instead of the top of the screen. Let me worry about Iapetus, Mercury. He's going to be a lot less grumpy when I clear the way for us in celestial mechanics to return to the native sphere. I've got it all figured out. You absolutely don't, but okay. Did you read the info packet? Ace Memorial Foundation pilot Luna Terra in the hot pursuit with escorts, planned an attack on the lab, arrived after you escaped, do not engage under any circumstances. Boring. But this part was good. I don't expect you to control your impulses, but even given that you're just like that, she is the last person you should be trying to fight on purpose. Sounds like I should definitely fight her on purpose, right? I hate you. Oh, come on. The carrier is never going to make it out of the system if I don't. You don't know how to pilot your ship. And she's a veteran since the Cold War. You're going to get yourself captured and humiliated. And the ship trashed. So you're saying there's no downside. Why are you doing this to me? And she's 6'1", huh? Your attention to detail is so useful sometimes. Saturn is so gremlin and Mercury is so tired, always and forever. You're using me to cruise? Your taste is so awful. Ugh, I hate you. Oops, looks like one of her escorts is in range. Sorry, gotta go. Surprise is all I've got, you know? I wish Europa would stop sending me boys who can't control themselves. Having fun dismantling my escorts. With the string of pearls fingers, Saturn carefully peels the mechanical musculature out of the poor ship's arm she's holding. A souvenir of the last of Lunaterra's escorts that she sent crying too easily back to their base. It's still sparkling and oozing, and Saturn wishes her ship had a mouth so she could suck it out like crab meat. Maybe it does have a mouth. The machine has many mysteries. The manual doesn't explain, and Saturn is still learning them. Though I suppose Europa's learned her lesson about sending me girls who can't control themselves. Oh, really? Hey, that's really interesting. Mind telling me more? Oh, she's a hacker too? How amusing. There's nothing too interesting on this comm frequency. Ah, you flatter me. But hey, what did that mean exactly? The part about the girls who can't control themselves? I really want to hear more. It means back up that talk first. Or can you land a hit off the comms? Lunaterra's gravitational field focuses on a single point. Lunaterra isn't budging. She's been through much worse. And so is her ship, followed always by a thin trail from a bleeding wound she never could completely repair. The Mare Crisium is over 2 decades old, but Saturn can't even land a hit. It's regal and stiff, dressed in cold metallics, weathered and refurbished. The archetypal prototype for all other ship selves, still going after all these years. Still furiously untouchable, the string of pearls hasn't gone down no matter how much she's been rammed with that spear. But she hasn't even nicked Lunaterra's ship once. Not bad at all for a joyride, but you can't get one hit in. Good thing you don't win by looking cool. No mercy for newbies? No. Lunaterra puts a stake of solid light through the string of pearl's leg, pins it to its own gauze wrapper. It doesn't hurt at all. The ship's metals begin molding and reforming around the wound immediately. A ridiculous, unfair advantage. Saturn has no right to complain, but she still wants to. But she's trying to be cool. Everyone wants to. When in the quiet gleam of that always bleeding ship. It's a pretty amazing ship. Think it will last? Either you're fighting just for fun because you're that reckless, or you're caught in your own containment wrapper and can't escape orbit yet. And you'd beat me for sure if I played around. I'm not done yet. That's not true. It's actually very difficult to move with a solid light bullet in your leg. But she's not going to let that stop her. Saturn is suddenly closer than she logically could be, claws bubbling, but Lunaterra effortlessly slips away and kicks Saturn's ship directly in the chest. Yeah, you're done. The containment wrapper is still stuck to you, so your movement's off. Doesn't seem to have stopped you that much. Right? It was so rude of them to try to stop me. Seems cruel to take it away when you're having so much fun with it. Same as you, right? Do I know you? Everyone knows Memorial Foundation's perfect ace. But do I know you? So I do, don't I? Let me out of this thing and I'll tell you. Why should I? Because you can't help yourself. Besides, don't you want a real fight? Can you promise it'll go different? I can promise it'll be more fun. You're asking for me to totally abandon my duty to bring you back and do that instead? What, you won't? The legendary pilot who defected from Memorial Foundation then double-crossed the rebels she abandoned them for can't be opposed to a little fooling around with the enemy. I guess you do know me. Want to trust each other? Or is it more fun if we don't? Okay, so it's more fun if they do and Saturn gets embarrassed, or it's more fun if they don't and Lunaterra gets owned. So if we're doing pure loyalty this route, then we would pick this one. If we betray, I mean, it is more fun. Oh, this is going to be hard to decide which ones to do. What do you pick, Pumpkin? Do you pick one or do you pick two? She picks flop over on her side and take up more space on the desk, which is not unusual for her whatsoever. Okay. I'm going to go with the one that's more fun. I'm going to decide not to just pick the same one. I would argue against a full loyal Saturn route, only because there's a betray option. It kind of feels very Saturn. How was that? Did it hurt? It's just weird. It's weirder that it doesn't hurt. It's easier for Lunaterra to cut through the malleable flesh of the string of pearls directly than untangle her from the wrapper. The flesh reforms quickly, so she has to work patiently. String of pearls might be impossible to destroy, even if Saturn can't land a hit. Lunaterra feels like somehow she's the one who got lucky. If just this hurt, you'd never be able to fight. Your brain is giving you more nuanced information. You're very sensitive, Lucky. You'll get used to it. If you're serious about next time, think of yourself as something a little bigger. I like that. Being big. I'm glad I trusted you. Stop shaking then, or ask me to go easier. Just a little easier. Of course. Do you remember me yet? I thought you'd remember the name of at least some of the girls you've made out with in supply closets. Your face. Just kidding. But sorry, it was worth it. You weren't kidding about still being dangerous. Every pilot knows you, by both of your reputations. You're definitely Saturn, because no one hated me as much as you. So now I'm curious why you don't anymore. If I tell you, you'll owe me extra. So save it for the next time you catch me. Well, I'll just have to catch you again quick. All free. Now get out before someone catches us. I love that exchange there, just a little easier because Saturn's trying so hard to be cool and tough. Good safe play, checking in to confirm comfort boundaries, which, important when there's knife play on the first date. Ever since the day Mars began, Mars has been doomed. No, there will never be planet Mars. That's a name reserved for places where human life, gravity, and culture reign. This is just bitter Aries. But like the stringy and inedible weeds that grow when nothing else does, Cradle's Grace is dug in, and we can't get them out. The colonies are wrecked. The terraforming engines are broken. The gravity furnaces are out of control. There's no resources left on this planet, no strategic value. This planet doesn't even exist. It is an inert rock. There's no point in fighting. There's no need to fight. Ship selves can't keep you alive alone forever. And even if that was the case, we could leave tomorrow and claim victory. Most of the Memorial Foundation NSCS fleet already did. That's why there's barely any of us left, and why we can't get them out. What? Why don't I go home too? Leave all those idiots to just fucking die on a rock? Who do you think we're doing this for? External communication sent on August 31st, 1978 by Memorial Foundation troops. Hey, it's not like we're idiots. We know we're doomed. This planet still doesn't fulfill the requirements for human life, and life is just the start anyway. Don't you know that gravity is something more important? You do understand celestial mechanics, right? Matter is made of tiny particles, but enough of it exerts gravity that stitches the universe together. Culture is made of tiny humans, and enough of it together can decide what's real and what isn't. It's really quite fucked up that this is how decisions about humans get made. Enough humans can decide anything, and then it'll be true, even about what's human and what's not. They don't even have to wait for the deadline. They've already decided that any human without their feet planted on the earth is in fact not a human. That's a pretty usual thing for humans to do. No difference of any kind needs to exist. We'll just be aliens. And then they'll send the real military after us, and we'll die. But if we just hold the line here for our princess to get through and make it to the moon, she'll open up the gravity well, and then we get to decide. Internal communication sent on January 25th, 1981 by Cradle's Grace's Irregulars. I do appreciate that the MF troops here are like, this planet sucks, this job sucks. There's no point to any of this, but I care about the people we're fighting, so here I am. It's morning on Aries, but what time and space? If we can get our capital ship launched and refueled and the prototype retrofitted... Oh, what are you doing now, Automod? Also the contest of the MF troops versus the CG Irregulars, ragtag little fuckers. That's not even something Automod should have flagged. I think I need to change my settings. They are way too sensitive. Okay, if we can get our capital ship launched and refueled and the prototype retrofitted with the final equipment, we'll have everything in place. Keep out of the canyons of Mars where Cradle's Grace and Memorial Foundation are bickering. Hold the city ruins against invading troops and make sure no one tries to set the oxygen ocean on fire while we refuel. It's a pretty thankless job. But me? I can't wait to see what happens. This is the most exciting space has ever been. Before we got here, this was a dead rock. But the best we could ever hope for was Earth in a different place. Who needs that? Far in the distance, the moon's gravity well shines. If no one controls it before the deadline is up, Earth will take drastic steps to ensure that humanity is not divided. What they're afraid of happening, we will ensure that it happens. We'll finally have something alien in space. Private communication sent on January 26, 1981 by a celestial mechanics researcher. That's quite a sound. Error. Mission parameters not detected. Mission results. Needed for gravitational slingshot permissions. Error. Navigation shortlist not found. Manual inject. Mission results.txt. Mission parameters found. All results perfect and amazing. Wow, thank you, Saturn. Flight path generating. Fleet path Cronus orbit refuel on planet Ares Lagrange colony pass classified operation Earth's moon. New standing orders coming in. Ares guard celestial mechanics fleet refueling on Ares oxygen ocean. Ares, stay out of trouble and do not engage in Memorial Foundation troops patrolling in immediate vicinity. Accept orders? No. Error. Cannot proceed. Manual inject. Accepted. Normalizing gravitational slingshot effect. Prepare for immediate launch to Ares. Saturn's such a nerd. She's hacking her ship self OS to praise her for whatever she does. I guess her praise kink runs so deep she has to program her ship to do it. Okay, be careful today. I'm never careful any day, so I'm serious this time. Iapetus is in the field today. I don't know where he's fighting, but you should be careful. Jeez, you worry too much. Obviously, because you give me so much to worry about. I mean, are you really worried? His ship self is actually not that scary. Not as scary as mine. As if that was a thing I was worried about. What then? Oh, ew, God, I'm not even thinking about letting our mutual ex touch me. I won't even fight him. I'll curve him the second his tides so much as tremble against my plating. Why would you worry I don't even slightly hate him less than you do? There is no possible way you hate him more than I do. But that's not the issue. That's never the issue with him. Hating him hasn't made him any easier to deal with. We were kids, though. We're wiser and older now. Mao. At least you're Mercury. Hardly. Or I wouldn't be telling you. You remember how he just casually lingered his fingers a second too long on your shoulder? In front of everyone? Ugh. 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 It was gross. It was so gross. And I loved the attention every time. It made me so smug. I loved it. It was gross. I hate him. Do you love yourself enough to not fall for it again? I definitely hate him enough to not fall for it. Our mutual ex plus we were kids though. Ugh. Yeah, same. Do you? No, obviously. I'm still in celestial mechanics, so how do you think I feel? You're soaring. We've got a stupid idiot who loves you, and you get to do research and never have to deal with him again. And with this ship self, we'll have the future. And no matter what, I'll make sure he won't. Okay, so this is Celestial Mechanics, Fleet Main, Junk Data. Oh my god, sorry for getting back to you so late, but I was in the middle of a meeting. My phone buzzed so much the director asked me in the middle of a meeting if I needed to take a call. I swear you do this on purpose. I don't think you really need feedback on your nudes that quickly, even though, yes, they're really important to me and I can't stop thinking about them or getting any of my work done, and my presentation suffered greatly from my lack of focus. I expect you're prepared for a little payback, and after I sent you my schedule so that this wouldn't happen again, ever, hey, you wouldn't have asked me for my meeting time so that you could send those to me at the worst possible moment, would you? I already know the answer to that, so why don't you tell me this? Why can I never get enough of you? Wow. Alright, so we have 2 new missions. Celestial Mechanics, full of horny nerds. I wouldn't expect anything else. Let's see. So we have Deep Dive. Oxygen Ocean serves as both fuel yard and terraforming engine for planet Ares, and it's the perfect hiding place for the migrating Celestial Mechanics fleet. But deep down, something is reaching for them. And the 400 KISS. Memorial Foundation deploys a certain sniper to stop escape and resupply routes to the resting Celestial Mechanics fleet. All Saturn needs to do is stay out of trouble. But what's the chance of that? Alright, so last time the chronology that would have made sense was to go to the bottom and then the top, but do I care about that? I mean, this one's talking about Aries, and we've been talking about Aries, so I'm going to stay with Aries. That's my only logic right now, so we're going to go here. Saturn, what are you doing? Disabling all comms and the diving supports, and oh, you're still here? I thought I cut this channel too. Well, I should go ahead and shut it. Don't you dare cut me off. You can listen if you promise not to whine or stop me. I will do no such thing, and you cannot make me deal with me. I'm still stating a fact, not making an argument. They're both Aries, okay, well, I'm just bad at reading. Just why, Saturn? Why are you such an incorrigible, petulant nightmare? After you were probationally forgiven for doing a very good job not getting String of Pearls ruined or captured, and a command even decided to give you the job of sparking the gravity engine that will take your fleet back to the native sphere. I would think you wouldn't be so into pressing your luck relentlessly. But everyone except for you is so annoying. They're annoying because whatever is causing the tidal interference from the bottom of the oxygen ocean is almost certainly that Cradle's Grace weapon, and they have no reason to believe you're going to be loyal. Every single second of the day, you are horrid and undisciplined, and your belief periods of obedience only seem to exist to throw everyone off later. I mean, if you want to cover for you, you have to play along a little. Why are you like this? Years of encouragement and grooming followed by abandonment and neglect, you know that. Same as you. And same for that pilot you're after too. Is that why? In a different way, but I think so. Enemy or not, I want to talk. I think I'm getting somewhere. And I'm not going to get to talk if you all are interfering. What if she doesn't want to just talk? Then you'll really appreciate me cutting the cables before she pulls all of you down there with me. Why is it so important anyway? You will really jeopardize the whole operation for that? What? You don't think I have my own cunning master plan? It's way better than this. Supposedly nothing can stop the Chronmacula. Is it better to find out if that's true sooner than later? Fight her or talk? Which is it? How are they any different? Anyway, don't worry when the connection accidentally breaks. I'll be fine, promise. And you will be too. Alright. Saturn, very real for the casual. It's the trauma, lol. At least there's some self-awareness there. Alright, so share a secret moment deep down. We're getting a tug-of-war above the waves. I can't say no to sharing a secret moment. The balance shifts because Pluto tugs and Saturn yields. The oxygen ocean is a peaceful place because everything about it destroys everything else. You can enjoy complete privacy under the curtain of the oxygen steam, drink all the fuel and air you want, and no vessel can survive the temperature and pressure conditions below. You can float as long as you want, or until your hull turns brittle and breaks, or your organic components oxidize and explode. Celestial Mechanics has covered their wayward pilot's machine and temporary armor layers to seal out the unknown interface of gravity and seeping oxygen. The additional temporary armor layers might not be necessary, but they also might be. The Celestial Mechanics fleet tenders lower the String of Pearls and slowly, just to make absolutely sure. It feels wonderfully cold, like a spare blanket taken from the attic in winter. Pluto is there, deep, deep down. And when Saturn slips in, she feels the ripples as if they were on opposite ends of the same perfectly still pool. The feeling is wonderful. Saturn's surprised that's true. Also, Evangelion moment, mecha with temporary armor layers, lowered into dangerous substances, there to make contact conflict with an extreme threat. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. It's been a while since I watched Ava. Probably since I was in high school, maybe? Yeah, I think I was in high school when I watched Ava for the first time, and I haven't come back to it since. I probably should, since I know they were made changes when they re-released it on Netflix that people weren't happy about with the new subtitling, but I should probably rewatch it at some point. How do you know that? Wait, Who is you? How do I know what? Saturn. Who are you talking to? We're asking for confirmation to lower you. Yeah, I've been ready. Sorry, I got distracted. You must be if you're apologizing. There's someone down there. She's speaking to me. No. She's trying to eat me alive. Or maybe it's really hard to tell the difference. Awesome. It's familiar. I'm so stoked. Take me down. The ocean boils wherever she touches it, even with the external equipment. There's no way to rely on sight, and the paramagnetic influence is too erratic for sensors to process. She can only feel her way for both of them. The cable to your left is extremely important. It's the only way we have of communicating and monitoring your situation. So you'll need to be extremely careful with it. Are you listening? Yes, but not to you. Shh. There's definitely someone here. Lower me. It's reaching out. Saturn feels funny. Something's not quite right. Like something's watching her. It's like someone's watching me. But it's also not like someone's watching me. It's like someone's watching her, but something isn't watching her. It's touching me. Something is touching Saturn. Its hands see her, and they also speak. It's saying something. The ocean ripples with boredom. It's really boring down here. But what else is Pluto going to do? Some girls get stuck with the worst jobs. But I've got to do it. With nothing to do but send insinuations through the narration. So you coming or what? I've got her again. Tidal spike detected. Mass gravity alert. Lower me further. Saturn, we're pulling you out. Oh no, not just yet. Hi, Saturn. Hi, Mercury. Sorry I'm borrowing her for a little bit. Saturn's cockpit floods with alarm lights of an imminent high-intensity gravity event, but it's too late. String of Pearls discharges its electromagnetic field and delicately breaks off the winch. Saturn, what are you... The String of Pearls cleanly slices off the last communication wire and the pulley system. The silence of the oxygen ocean remind her of a sensory deprivation tank. What a good girl. Hey, don't praise me like that. I wanted to speak to you again. Damn it, I cut both wires. Even ship-to-ship comms are down. Saturn, can you hear me? Would you hear me if I spoke with this ship? It's been such a long time since anyone could hear it. Pluto's tidal reactor pulses slowly. The thrum feels like it's coming from everywhere. Oh, I get it. You want to talk with gravity? Well, I'm not some miracle child, even though they tried very hard to make me as good as you. Saturn's reactor, an anxious little ball, is getting just so fed up with this. It's frustrating to not be understood. Would you know what that's like? You don't know how much I know, but I believe in you. If Saturn moves too much, she might forget what direction up is. The sensory deprivation of the ocean takes everything away, but she has to remember that's not true. I don't believe you, but I'm trying. Oh, she's trying. Of course I'm trying. Come on, where am I? Ugh, I hate people playing hard to get. I believe in you, but you gotta work for it. I can't do it. Sorry, but I'm cheating. The String of Pearls electrotoxin shoots through the ocean like a bolt of lightning. It reaches out because it's attracted to you. It seeks the path of least resistance, looking for something that wants to respond. What it really does is run along the boundaries, theoretical and real. There's a place where the boundary between one thing and another is weakest, and it runs along the boundary until it finds it, and then it connects the two. Why is she doing that? Oh, it's what you're used to. Good at seeking weak spots. I've got a lot. Can you find them? You can do it if you try. Maybe you need a little push. It's like there's nothing, not a single crack. Don't say you're not perfect. Don't make me do all the work. The pressure is overwhelming, but it's overwhelming for Pluto too. The crown macula is like a little star, gushing matter and condensing it into an engine of light over and over. It was modeled after a theory of the Big Bang, after all, made in secret of the planet Hades on the boundary between what is human and what is not. It's a fragile boundary. You can touch it, but be careful. This takes me back, which is not fucking fair. Are you doing that on purpose? Always taking me to unpleasant pasts? Is it taking you back? Sorry. But we can't help it. It's the first thing beneath our surfaces. It's hard for me too. It takes Saturn back to their first implant series, when they took the most special children they could find and tried to cheat them into being even more special. Bypass all the work and care that had gone into the third generation pilots and kick them directly into humanity's next stage. Cheating, you should know, felt good. It felt wrong, in a good way. It felt good, in a way that felt obscene. It felt bad, like she was getting more than she deserved. They chose her, but she felt like she was played a trick on them, like she lied and got candy for it. They knew there was nothing special about her, and then they gave her the most special thing. If they knew how special it was, and how much she didn't earn it, they would have given it to someone else, but they didn't. Even when they threw her away, she never forgot how that felt. Why is it always like this? Oh, baby. It takes Pluto back to when she was learning how to be a person. In space, they decided they would start over, without assumptions. Humanity would be protected by the most human children they could make. No matter how badly she did, no matter how much she wasn't up to how perfect they wanted, they never gave up on her. That was the worst part. She wished so much that they would give up. It was so hard. She just wanted to be the mess she really was, and they wouldn't let her. She knew with her whole heart what she was supposed to be. She had it memorized, and she could never make it leave her body, become the things she did and the person she was. They let her be whatever she wanted, and she wasn't strong and smart and pretty enough to be it. Both of them remember, reaching through the wall to the one on the other side, wishing so hard to hold hands it feels like you really are. You're two pebbles dropped into the pond, but your ripples, touchings are enough. No one knows, and even the two of you almost don't. Never say it out loud, never think it out too loud. It sounds so sad when you put it like that. Why? Don't show me things that stop making me jealous. Oh, you got me. You're touching me. I can hear you through the contact link. You got me that good. That's what you have to say? You're the one who got me. You did it. You found me. You're clever. It's amazing. You don't need to flatter me. I won't feel better. I'm not. You better. I promise. Why am I so scared and you're so not? That's just me. Sorry I'm like this. Well, you can flatter me a little. You're a little needy, huh? Didn't you say I just had you? You do. You can do whatever you want. Why did you do this? You came after me, so it's only fair I came after you. Don't say it's only fair. Say I'm amazing and important. You came after me specifically. You're totally not needy, huh? Give me a better answer. I want to know why it's me. I don't have one. There are so few of us left who've got to cling to everyone. But I love that you're scared. You believe anyway. I think you're one of the only people who can make something change. And there's no time left. Is that a proposal? To join your side? Yeah. What if I refuse? Then give a good reason for me to join you. You're even more impulsive than me. You can start to see why I fight, can't you? The way I'm starting to see why you do? Show me something important and I'll be yours too. You're definitely not going to go quietly, are you? Nope. If I let you go, will you promise not to crush yourself and me and literally everything? This time, you mean? Yeah. I think I can do that. Say hi to Mercury for me. I'll see you again soon, baby. Alright, let's get caught up. Asuka are forced to get along and Shinji's all embarrassed by the suit. Mercury helpfully pointing out the exact cable Saturn should totally, definitely not break. I love Pluto, the sudden pop-up, hi, and vanishing into the dust-snatching Saturn. The contrasting art styles is such a cool... Yeah, I really liked that, of showing what their, like, past and interiority were like, the colors and the like, one is, like, super sketchy and loose and a little more abstract, and the other one's a little bit more refined. Show me something important and I'll be yours too is such a line. That was a great exchange. Alright, how are we doing? We're everything except Cradle's Graces. The captain told me to thank you for the data stream. You're very welcome. Do you have any results for me? Yes, I'll encrypt them. Thank you, you're the best. I guess there's no point in asking what you want them for. How afraid should I be? I'm just trying to fulfill our mission, Mercury. You know that. I'm going to tell him you're as inscrutable and petulant as ever. Aw, please, I don't want your hubby to hate me. Why do you always call Ganymede the captain anyway? Because some of us have a sense of discretion. Aw, Captain's pet is so well behaved. You're one to talk, Saturn. You're going to end up at the pound one of these days if you go through any more superior officers. No, it's cute. You both tidily locked that quick. You're making all the lesbians jealous. Then act like it's Saturn. And I will not apologize for locking it down. I've had my fill of being a pet. I don't really want to be a pet either. Maybe you're learning to love yourself. What I'd like to be is a toy. That's even worse. No, it's better. Plastic and metal can be molded into any kind of shape. You can smooth over and change whatever you want. You only have to accept, if I could read over Pumpkin, the interference you're designed for. A toy never gets to do anything. It just sits there, looking pretty. Mercury, what do you think I want? Don't you love how much ship selves evoke so much, just by being plastic in the silhouette of a human? Those beam weapons are my fingertips. The chassis is my tits. But they're also beam weapons and impenetrable chassis. They can shred the plastic all they want, but they can't touch me. Plastic can't get hurt. But you still can be. Don't forget. People fawn over objects, they worship them. I want to be the product they obsess over. I thought you were tired of getting thrown away. I am not for individual retail sale. Look, don't touch. One of a kind, not sold in stores. She's so fucked up and I love her very much. Absolute freak of a girl. Alright, so the annual Academy student rating from the colony server force extraction. I won't rate them. They're still learning. Given this, Halamede is underperforming based on the expectations that you set out for her. I told you, the projections were completely divorced from reality, repeatedly, for this very reason. The authority she may have wielded on Earth means nothing up here. I should add, because I know you will forget it as early as is convenient, that she is performing very highly compared to her peer group in the specific areas that you seem to consider so highly. Yes, even compared to your Generation 1 aces, she has the potential to surpass them, so stop asking if she has surpassed the top one yet. I prefer to keep those two as separate as possible for interpersonal reasons. Halamede is too competitive and easily impressed to not make me worry about placing her in close contact with the number 1 ace. Your attempts to put these two in the same room has not gone unnoticed by me. Do you just love drama, Iapetus? Or is there something else you believe is more important than the health of our pilots? I guess that means I should pay attention to this character's calling out. Nick's final resignation. Memorial Foundation evidence locker from the Special Counsel for the Prosecution of Dr. Nix. In these moments, nothing is more painful than being patronized. But you couldn't even spare me that. I can't understand why you thought me to be that naive, though I really did know. They thought a world where the children were together and free and could write their own futures sounded wonderful. We didn't even get close for them to understand. It's not what they wanted. I knew it from the start. I regret only that I didn't get further before they noticed. You are asking for my resignation, but there's nowhere else for me to go. And there's nowhere else for those children to go either. I won't let you have them, and I won't let you crush them back to their earthly shapes. What you are asking instead is for me to declare war. So I will do so. And we will see if Earth's tides are truly powerful enough to crush the new humanity you rejected. Nix. Alright, let's do this kiss. Oh, there's so much color compared to when we were underwater. No, go ahead. Take your time. I'm not dying or anything. You know, fighting officially on Ares is a lot less fun than I was promised it would be. It's real work, Saturn. I thought that's what all of that getting back on our good side was all about. I shouldn't have done such a good job of hiding in the oxygen ocean then. You could maybe stage an attack from the Olympus ruins, but not even Cradle's Graces is precious enough to defend. Memorial Foundation is thorough enough to watch over it. Of course, only they would be that annoying. There's recent activity there, and they want an investigation. They're just being paranoid. It's a stupid plan, and they're only sending someone there to waste their time chancing we're dumb. Or baiting us. Would they really send their ace if that was the case? Wait, that old Memorial Foundation warhorse, you mean? Why didn't you tell me the most important part first? Coordinates now, please? Saturn, I really hope you are not actually... Yeah, I'm feeling like, Commander's right, actually. That area needs some really thorough investigation, just to be sure. What's with the sudden enthusiasm? It's really not... No, wait, it's exactly like you. When you said you fought off the Mare Crisium pilot, what were you actually doing? I don't know what you're talking about, Mercury. I was so dutiful and brought this back in one piece, so that means I won. So don't worry about it. Why are you like this? All right. I'm bored. Wait, I'll tease here basically. So we get no scoped or Lunaterra gets a point blank encounter. Okay, last time I let Lunaterra have the leg up. This time I'm gonna stick to Saturn having the leg up. But then I'm mentally committing that the next thing that I do, we might go betray to balance things out a little bit. We'll see. The balance shifts because Saturn moved and Lunaterra couldn't. Got you. She does. Saturn is as good as already down. But so is Lunaterra. Got you too. Pure spite got Saturn this far. and it will get her even farther. She takes aim and fires. Lunaterra, perfectly still for the perfect shot, is perfectly unable to get out of the way in time. Saturn's string of pearls is laid out flat on her back, creaking and twitching, and Lunaterra's mare crisium falls from her sniper spot like a burning star. Lunaterra wakes up first, but her flight unit is shot. It's hard to hide a ship that can't fly in a city, but the mare crisium is full of unfair tricks. Shooting her down is just the beginning. You have to catch her next. That's all right with Saturn. She's at her best when everyone is in the dirt. When she wakes up, she's ready. She might be in worse shape than Lunaterra, but worse shape is her best. String of Pearls skirts along the half-constructed city with the shape of ruins and the pristine finish of plastic toys still in their boxes, looking for the hole Lunaterra's nestled in, and dodging her shots of protest. Reboot took longer than I thought, but ready or not, here I come. Hey, come out. You almost got me the last time you poked your head out to shoot. Try again. Aw, come on. I'm not babbling to trick you or anything. I'm just having a great time here. I'd love it if you'd stop making me feel like I'm just talking to myself. I can hear you just fine, Saturn. What? This isn't exciting enough? I guess that's why you're the ace pilot, LT. I need to have you on the ropes to taunt you and dodge at the same time. An ear-splitting crash, impossible to tell which direction the shot came from. The cover around Saturn explodes. I'm an ace because I keep my priorities straight. It's not what I've heard. What have you heard? Keeping your priorities straight is the thing that you're the worst at. It's pretty much your most obvious weak point. Maybe they don't know what my priorities are. Is getting shot down by an idiot with no combat experience high on your priority list? The building next to Saturn explodes. John will have argued that the other is just as good. I'm just deeply biased. I love the taunting and teasing punctuated by LT casually exploding the infrastructure. You straight as if. Is missing all the time high on your priority list? You really are a brat. Is getting harassed constantly by flirtatious brats high on your priority list? You're really on your toes today. I can't hit you with anything. Yeah, I'm having fun too. What a mess. I don't know why I'm laughing about it, or having so much fun. I'm glad you think so. It's a funny kind of day if you put it that way. If this fighting is just play fighting, then keep playing with me. You should be careful though. You never know what I might try next. I've got so many plans for dragging you out in the sun. Like what? Are they working on me? Of course. Stop underestimating me. I'm executing several plans as we speak. You're not at all ready, Lunaterra. I'm not giving you any way out. You're not going to at least give me a hint? I'm at a disadvantage here. You can't trick me into giving it all away. But maybe you're right. Maybe I should be generous and let you know just a hint about one plan. You're generous. You should know this, but winning isn't my highest priority. It won't mean that I'm easy, though. Hey, we do think alike, at least on the first half of that. If you love winning, the stalemate of this whole conflict should bore you to tears. All that's left in space are second-choice pilots who suck at being like winning, no matter how good they are. I'm the second choice, but I'm the pilot that's here right now, and no one else would have thought of the plan I did. Oh? I'm a second choice, too. I shouldn't be here. It's that great a plan? Really? You? Oh, it's not a good plan. It's just that no one else would do it, because I'd have to be a freak to try and catch you on foot. A first choice would never be sent to space in the first place. That does sound like a crazy plan to me. What would you even do if you found me, assuming I'm standing here still? I know it sounds like I'm showing off, but I couldn't beat you in a fair fight, so anything else is in my favor, right? Maybe it's the only way around that ghost ship of yours, and how much of a genius you are. I could track any ship that I've hit once. Okay, Toffee. I also have ways of being so hidden you could never find me. You're right, but you haven't used them. Maybe not. Also, did you know that your Mare Crisium has a manual bypass for opening the cockpit? Yes. Oh, good. But I'll knock anyway. The gentle hiss of pressure, the cockpit opens. Hi. You look a little different, not nearly so smug. You look a lot different. I remember you now. You were such a good girl. I never would have thought that was you. You're smiling, Lunatera. Something good just happened? You must really trust me to come unarmed. Why would I need to be? I win. I'd say I'm pretty dangerous just like this. You think of everything. Never mind. You do look infuriatingly smug for someone I just beat. Step away from the controls. Sure. I'm not laughing at you, I'm impressed. You know, even still, even in a fake fight you have no respect for, no one takes me this seriously. I'm the Memorial Foundation ace, just by default, after the good ones left. So I don't mind losing to you, since you think I'm so cool. Lunatera kneels by the controls, hands up. They're still in reach. Saturn climbs the open hatch. No sudden movements, and I don't think you're cool. What do you want now? My ship? Me? They're both useless. I'll decide that. I don't need your ship out of commission. I'm going to be much cooler than you very soon, and I'll beat you, sort of fair and square, but maybe I should reprogram the ship to be absolutely sure. Lunatera whips her around so fast, Saturn's pinned down in the cockpit seat before she can tell how it happened. Sorry, but touching there isn't allowed. So, where is touching allowed? You are absolutely much more dangerous without a gun. LT's hand is on Saturn's collar, and her other on Saturn's wrist. Saturn slips her free hand down LT's arm. So how about here? That's fine. What about here? I won't stop you. You don't mind if I touch your face, but you won't let me touch your ship? Some places on the ship are fine. Some places on me are fine. Which do you want to know right now? Is this... Damn it. So how's unbuttoning my shirt going? It's harder than it looks at that angle with just one hand, huh? Just make out with me, you heinous bitch. Lunatera had this idea, but instead she forgets it. She lets her grip go slack, and Saturn's nearly leapt out of the chair to kiss her. That thought is a little surprising, but her body made her right call in the moments in between when she was too busy overthinking it. Saturn seems a little mad about that smug face Lunatera is making, and bites Lunatera's lip as they kiss. It doesn't encourage Lunatera to stop being like that. This is absolutely insane. Are you kidding? What could possibly be a better use of our time? Don't tell me duty is why you're fighting out here, or you would have stopped me before I opened the hatch. You're not just here for fun. You're not doing this just because there's no point and you're killing time before the war collapses one way or another. Obviously. I can be sure and still make out with you. Would it disappoint you if I wasn't? Don't make that face. I can tell it would. That's good, though. I feel the same way. I wouldn't have let you flirt if that's just all you were. How can you be sure? Looks like I know something you don't. Even if it's just one thing. I'm always the last to know. You always make it seem like you don't know what you're doing. I'm just acting on instinct. My body knows what to do. Then you should be asking her. She'll know just what to do. September 12th, 1963. That's when the first and last artificial colony of the native sphere was completed in a tranquil bowl of stable gravity at Lagrange point 5. As the front line against existential threats, a training facility for a generation of humans adapted to fight in space. As a colony environment with the life, gravity, and culture necessary for human beings to live, thrive, die, and be reborn. With the hope that peace on earth would reign if we won this war in heaven. Without pressure, water boils off our tongues and we dissolve into component parts. Without culture, we forget the ships we're supposed to have and turn inside out into something else. Out of necessity, we created a pressurized environment exerting enough gravitational pressure to maintain cohesion, all senses, in space, a ship's self, to ferry us through the world. They function only in places where the gravity of humans is too light to sustain existence. It was doomed from the start. Of course, they were jealous of the humans the Earth no longer wanted, flying on zero-G wings. Dr. Nix, Executive Director, Memorial Foundation Existential Expansion. July 29th, 1958. That's when the Memorial Foundation International Executive Committee was granted international authority in the spirit of unified human peace and the verified presence of the existential threat outside the solar system to establish a cultural, military, and scientific response to existential threats. No longer confined to Earth, a growing native sphere where our gravity reigns forever, safety, research, and expansion, the three pillars of Memorial Foundation's space branch will protect Earth from without as it has from within. Free from the old world's gravity, it would be possible to advance science, art, and culture without constraint, and join hands. All of Earth, finally unified. From Memorial Foundation protecting humans from other humans through peace on Earth, and protecting humans from everything else through war in heaven, would fulfill both of our agendas simultaneously. We really, foolishly, decided we could do better. There are two errors to this approach. The first is that to do better in heaven is meaningless if it cannot be exported to Earth. The space program was never rejected by the surface. It simply did not have enough relevance to sustain interest. The second error is the intrinsic error of Memorial Foundation. The existential threat is intrinsic to humanity. You can fight it, but you cannot cut it out. The designation of alien is required by humans. We cannot trick an existential threat into a convenient manifestation, as if it has always been. Only humans can fulfill the criteria to be alien. Europa Chief Officer, Memorial Foundation Existential Safety. January 2nd, 1980. That's when they blew up the Lagrange colony. It was a real shame. It was green, wet, and very peaceful place. And now it's very cold, green, wet, and very unsettling place. It's where we did a lot of legitimately incredible things, like create sustainable tidal reactors, new culture, experiment with human bodies and human development, manufacture self-sufficient alter egos for space exploration, and did everything other than successfully combat the unknowable existential threat. Earth and the Memorial Foundation surface considers that a failure, but in truth, they're just not trying hard enough. Through gravity, humans decide what is real and what is not. Humans cannot make whatever they imagine come true. Through imagining, humans chart out what is true. They invent with human effort what exists. If an existential threat doesn't exist, we just have to make one. But of course, it doesn't work like that. Nothing could be more difficult than creating something alien. Our only reference points are human, so the idea of something alien is unimaginable, because we cannot imagine outside of those terms. There's a certain degree of misunderstanding needed for humans to successfully classify something as alien. But before they blew it up, we got very close. Iapetus, Executive Director, Memorial Foundation Existential Research. OS root core reformatting 67% complete. Awaiting flight path input. Manual inject extract CM flight path. Forcibly extracting coordinates. Coordinates received. Flight path passes through former pilot training school Lagrange Colony. Receiving new mission assignments. Error block from ship self side. Manual inject scan virus. Manual inject extract. 3 viruses detected and deleted. You have new mission assignments. Colony, reclaim tidal reactor from Colony Core before Memorial Foundation. Colony, prevent theft of entire colony by Cradle's Graces. Accept orders. Lamau. Accepted. Normalizing gravitational slingshot effect. Prepare for immediate launch to Lagrange Colony. All right, so we're going to take a break for kibble time, which is when I feed my cats who are circling me because they're hungry. So I'm going to take about 5 minutes and then we'll come back and probably play for another 30 minutes. And then I'm probably going to have to save and turn in because I'm pretty sleepy tonight. But we'll see how far we can get before that happens. So, be right back. Okay, kibble time is over. So we can see what our stat distribution looks like now. We're leaning more towards celestial mechanics for the time being. Let's get into comms. Don't make it sound like I hate following command any less than you. Don't worry, I would never doubt that. Hey, Mercury, why are you still with celestial mechanics? Why are you? If you still are, that is. You're the one who can choose. Mercury. Oh, don't. If you hadn't hijacked String of Pearls, you'd be here, like me, waiting. To see if it's true, that we can be what comes after being human. I don't want that for you. I certainly don't trust or believe in celestial mechanics or Iapetus. Wasn't that the worst part? Even after he decided we weren't good enough to be the chosen pilots, neither of us left. He knew we wouldn't leave because we already wanted it too much. Do you still want that more than anything else? I don't know. I know what I don't want, and it's to have nothing to show for it. Nothing to show for what? Coming to space, going to the academy, never having a chance to fight in the Cold War, not having a say either way, falling stupidly for the worst man alive. I'm counting on you, Saturn, to give me something better than just the same Earth we left. Never have to worry about that. I have only the highest ambition for us. Those girls you're flirting with better have a decent future for us, is all that I'm saying. Sure. Fine. Okay. Only if it's a really good one, if nothing else. I'll make sure that he doesn't get the future he wanted. Any future but the future he wants is good. Give me and Ganymede a good place there, wherever and whenever it is. Nick's Resignation 2. Memorial Foundation Investigative Archives, MF Celestial Mechanics Research Lead Iapetus. Nix. You fundamentally misunderstood the purpose of pursuing the dream of space. I never sought to correct you. After all the great things you have accomplished are the result of that misunderstanding. You believed that your dream, so universally loved, was loved because we wanted it to come true. This was not the case. Of course, even though I think the Memorial Foundation truly believed that they wanted the same as you. But as the tides of Earth turned, they realized in their own hearts what they are not the forefront of humanity's change, but slaves to its whims. To protect human culture means to always be at its beck and call, no matter what it becomes. And their dream is one of overwhelming power that will unlock the last mysteries and cement our authority forever. What your children achieved with freedom from gravity, we will have the power to determine on our own. I hope you can understand the depths of my gratitude to you for exploring these ideas, that they might one day belong to us. Iapetus. He's such a prick. Academy Student Research Records, Mercury. Database leak. Pilot Operations Manager, Europa. Of all the Generation 3 pilots, Mercury is far and away the one best suited to actually be a pilot, to the degree I'd be terrified of giving that position to any other one of Iapetus's nightmare brats. So there's absolutely no chance that he'll be assigned, of course. He really is trying to maximize. What I want to impress, however, is that Mercury is still someone Iapetus chose personally for the pilot role, when he served himself during the Cold War, alongside the current second-tier candidate, Saturn. Mercury used to be a lot different, which is obvious. A lot of our pilots used to be a lot different, for reasons only space can explain. I think reducing it to Mercury's personal stake is as incomplete a reading as it would be for any of the other pilots in celestial mechanics. Some of them even know exactly what they're doing. Mercury, most of all. I don't think he has petulant grudges against humanity. He's just very critical. Alright, so new missions. And they're both going to be for the colony, so that I don't forget. The first one is Becoming Stars. The Lagrange colony is an uninhabitable husk, but Cradle's Graces still clings to it quite literally. Pluto's dream might collapse under its own weight or crush Saturn under it. And deeper cuts. In the garden district closest to the malfunctioning and broken tidal reactor that kept the colony together, time and space aren't quite right. It's the perfect place for a real fight. How deep under Lunaterra's skin do you think she can get? Okay, well, last time we started with Pluto and ended with Lunaterra, so I'm going to do the opposite this time. And I said we were going to betray this time, so we'll see what happens. Ugh, this place. You don't feel like seeing home, seeing home again? Oh, come on. Don't tell me you don't have any fond memories of the academy. I do, despite myself. And that's why I don't have any wish to see it like this. A ruined garden that only reminds us how weak the gravity of this whole venture really was compared to Earth. If you keep betraying, then you won't get the CM ending. Well, we'll see. We'll see what the options are, and I'll just pick the one that feels like the one I want to see. Not to mention, it was all for something completely worthless, too. Wait, now you're gambling about a mission. This is historic. The Lagrange reactor is just a hollow shell, and there's hardly any advantage to getting it. This better be a trap to use you as bait to get Memorial Foundation off our trail. Oh no. What a terrible trap to fall in. More flirting, I see. Is it unbearable? Yes, extremely. Are you really still getting nowhere with her? What are you talking about? I think you said you were going to crack her open and peel her shell, but I don't think you have. You don't know anything. I am completely and utterly correct, huh? She's highly evasive, point blank or sniper shot. I can't seem to hit her. Your type, I see. Shut up. I got the Academy's most notorious heartbreaker to look like an idiot at me, so I win. So shut up. She's even stupider than I thought she was. But she's not as stupid as I am. You're the one with your guts all over the place. I'm just... fine. I'm frustrated, alright? But it's not because I'm not getting anywhere. Because I even care. Alright. This time, I'm done playing. Happy? If there's anything there, or if she's just metal all the way through, I'm going to find out. If she's that boring, I'll never forgive her. But I'm coming back. With guts this time. Okay, so we have a fight for real in a fun way. Or fight for real in a fun way. Oh no. This is a harder choice than I thought it was going to be. Mercury just sitting there with call out after call out. One of these is mildly spicy and the other is not. I mean, with all the quotation marks, it feels like the second one is mildly spicy. I said I was going to betray this time. But on the other hand, the other one also sounds fun and not in quotation marks. Hmm. Neolib combat versus transhumanistic gods. Wow, when you put it that way. Oh, I love how colorful it is this time. A surprise attack isn't very sporting. Don't be jealous just because I got mine off first. You got a wound on me, and the Lagrange reactor shell. That not a good enough deal? No way. In fact, apologize. Hiding so I can't surprise you again is so unfair, Lunatera. Let me bully you some more. I'll pass. Are you sure? You sure you don't want to get bullied? See if you can find me first. You like cat and mouse games, don't you? You want to try it again? I won't let you just play a game this time. Can you find me, even when I'm serious? Then I'll get serious. Lunatera hides in the Garden District, the one part of the colony she has no memories of. The Garden District doesn't have any trees or flowers or plants. It's not that kind of garden. A garden for the children meant to inherit space. Not like Lunatera, who came in the first generation, teenagers too old and too molded by Earth's gravity to inherit the cosmos. The second generation was raised here in the light of the colony's center, the Lagrange tidal reactor Lunatera remembers like the sun, with the hope that they would grow freely in the lightest of gravity, free of Earth's weight. Lunatera is the one holding the useless shell of that reactor now. Even broken and useless, LT doesn't feel comfortable holding it. It's an unpleasant, untrustworthy object, and it feels wrong to hold. Yeah, that's a good line. Too old and too molded by Earth's gravity. It was made by people, but it doesn't seem like it was. It's a fake, but it's unsettlingly close to that celestial mechanics eventually intended it to be when they seized control of the reactor before the conflict broke out. Something not made by humans. Hello, Empress. How are you doing? I don't know which day this is. I think this is like day 5. Still a first playthrough. Very interested to see where we go. I tried actually going to sleep at a normal time, but couldn't. My sleep schedule's been totally messed up lately, so I get that. I think I've been awake since like 1:45 in the morning. I should be in bed right now to make up for it, but here we are. If it's so useless, why don't you just give it back? You can tell what I'm thinking, huh? Or read between the lines, just like Pluto, but different. Something I still can't understand. You've been playing with her too, haven't you? I sure have. Jealous? Of which of us, though? Both. I could never read the story like you both. I'm straightforward. It's not even a little true. You're being way too stingy with the narration. Narration? You can't perceive space-time as a story? A narration spun out of the ambient gravity of humans? Telling you about everything that is, if you can listen. You can't see how obviously your envy is bleeding out and everywhere, can you? I'm slipping, huh? Letting out more than I thought. But see why I'm jealous? I don't know anything about what you mean. I wish I could speak that language. Yeah, It's amazing. You should really be sad you don't speak it. I just have this absence. Your impression on the narrative is something like spilled whiteout, a gushing ocean of bleach, which is a pain in the ass for someone like us. You also have a habit of acting too fast to get caught up in the story, especially when it's not going your way. 3 times faster than the story knows what to do with. That's how. You are different than Pluto. She would swell into the atmosphere, but you slowly bleed into the space between the lines. I can feel you seeping through, blurring the lines between one and the other. What is it you're after? Curious? And stop hiding. The rain-slicked streets are looking more and more the same. The weather is malfunctioning and the moisture regulator is shot, and the failing gravity is doing strange things, playing strange tricks. Mare Crisium's feet are wet. She's afraid. She's falling right into a trap that feels like it's in every direction at once. Can't trick me. Lunaterra dodges at the last second, or was never there. If Saturn bleeds into the narrative, then Lunaterra's trick is having a real habit of interrupting the story, just when it's getting good. Good thing she'll never know how much Saturn and Pluto think that's cool. I have eyes too, Lunaterra. Don't think gravity alone is enough. Saturn swipes again. Lunaterra wouldn't be hit by such a thing, but she isn't ready for the dripping, sparkling neural lightning. She misjudges the distance, the unsureness of gravity. Mare Crisium sparks and bleeds from her left arm. Lunaterra swings her spear, crushes the string of pearls to the ground. It crumples, then darts away. Lost in the mist, Saturn's worse off, but her machine will fix itself, and the poison in Mare Crisium's systems is only getting worse. You almost got me, but not quite. Is your game off a little today, Lunaterra? I thought you were going to be serious. Going to have to do a lot better than that if you want to see me serious. You're misunderstanding? I'm going to cheat. You're the one who has to take this seriously. How is that arm feeling? Still sparking? Still gooey? It doesn't take that much, you know. Have you been cleaning your system regularly? What kind of fight are you looking for? A one-sided fight where you try your hardest and still lose. Looking for payback? What? No one cares about that. It's for you. Because you love getting owned. Saturn thought she sounded so cool saying that, but it was kind of lame. I love that Lunaterra will never know how cool they think she is because she can't read the narration saying so. You're never holding back. There's no way I can beat you. You're even stronger than any story anyone's told about you. You always win and no one touches you. If ship cell fights were life and death, that'd make you a genius. But they're not. They're made in the image of plastic toys to fight like plastic toys. So that makes you an idiot for not playing along and being honest. You'll save a lot of time if you give in and say I'm right now. If you beat me for real, there'll be all the answer you need. Stoic to the last, but that's great. Your holding out on me is actually kind of delicious. When's the story going to tell me what's happening? When are you going to let me hear about all the static in your joints, the trembling in your mask, your slackening grip? I'm on the edge of my seat, waiting to know. Lunaterra knows that it's true. Saturn can't sense what she is at all, but she knows immediately that Lunaterra knows she knows. Tell me all about that, and I promise, without any hate or fear, I'll listen. You don't believe me, but I promise. I promise. I won't laugh or hurt you. I can't see you, so you can escape if you want. I'll let you keep that little ball, even, and the poison will wear off. But I want to see. Do you want to show me? The Mare Crisium crashes to the ground, skids along the wet streets of the colony. Her legs give out, and her arms are too weak to catch her fall. String of Pearls lands gently, surprisingly. But that's what these ships were meant to do. They're meant to land gently. Even the electrotoxins are tingly, not painful, in a warm, numbing sort of way, like licking a battery with every part of your body. There's no way that Lunaterra can stand up. As soon as she lets it all in, she falls in a mess, totally defeated. Wow, you really did it. You got so quiet. You're so well trained. You're the big strong ace, but you shut down so quickly. You really can't deal with me at all. Why is that? Didn't you say you weren't going to bully me? I'm showing all possible restraint. You really did make it hard. I thought you were kind of cool. You really acted like you knew what you were doing, even though you were so scared. Leave me alone. Oh no, baby, but you love this. You're looking forward to it. I can see right through you. These ships are meant to touch. If you never lose, you never let anyone in. Thinking of this as losing it all is actually kind of sad. You want to give this all up? Drag me home? Are you really sure? Lunaterra, you really ought to not lie to me so much. This smug, untouchable Lunaterra that I used to hate, she's so boring. But the you that you don't want anyone else to see, that's a much better you. That's the you I want to see. Lunaterra is conscious of her own breath, of the unconscious pulsing rhythm of her ship self, which trembles, and not just from the toxins. She really can't move in any sort of effective way, but what she's feeling isn't fear or even helplessness. It's anticipation. If she thought that she trusted Saturn as much as anyone else, not at all. Not that she has no choice, she's surprised. She trusts Saturn so much, even knowing exactly what she wants to do. Saturn plucks the broken reactor out of Mare Crisium's hands and tosses it away like trash. And I will. Now that I have the power to peel your skin off and see it, I'm really happy. I never thought I'd finally get to see you like this, even though you're letting me. Little secrets, just for me, that the narration will never tell. For you only. So only I get to see you twitching and helpless. No one else knows. Not telling. But it's just for you, so keep it ambiguous. Got it. I could be straddling you and pinning you. It's certainly possible, but not for certain. I'm not saying anything definitive. You've got it. Thank you. You've got my pride. Yeah? Your pride? Tell me about that. It's worth a lot to me. Then I'm worth even more, right? String of Pearls and Mare Crisium are so... Corin Macula is pretty, but these two are very... yeah. Saturn's messed up little cat thing, still with scraps of the wrapper on her. Aw. Alright, so we're tipping more in Celestial Mechanics side now. Let's go see what Mercury has to say. We're like, not surprised by this at all. Saturn, I would love it. Just love it. Yeah? If you messed everything up this time. Is this reverse psychology? Did I really reduce you to that? I'm a little impressed by your persistence in nagging me, but now I'm feeling like I pushed you to your limit. Shut up. As always, I am serious. Messing things up is literally the only thing in the world no one has ever needed to specifically tell me to do. And you keep yelling at me when I do. I've been looking into Iapetus's work on the Aversion Project. Oh. How much do you know? More than you know. Of course it was always suspicious that Iapetus decided to support us. He was very insistent in his interest in taking humanity to the next stage. As if that is why any of us wanted to connect with the so-called existential threat. People who already had everything on Earth couldn't possibly understand. They just want even more for themselves. That's what I thought too. Iapetus's plan is very attractive to certain factions in Memorial Foundation. Certain factions in Memorial Foundation really liked the days when humanity was united against the existential threat. Except aliens aren't real. Okay, they're an nth-dimensional shadow cast by the gravitational impression of human culture and space-time, but that makes them a few shades short of real and much less dangerous than their cousins on Earth. And even those are so weak kids with radios can take them out. Anyways, Pluto wiped them out. That was the whole plan. Since humanity doesn't care about them anymore, they'd never expect we would find a way to avert our tidal reactors and become the aliens ourselves. The only alien is what is alien to us, and that's fundamentally humanity. We're aliens to ourselves. F of x equals that which is human that humans are not. And Iapetus isn't going to give up everything he has for that. You think he's lying about wanting to. I think he's lying about himself wanting to. I think he's happy to let us complete the project and go home. Because he'll have exactly what he and the rest of humanity is longing for. A scapegoat. Someone to be an alien humanity could guiltlessly fight against. Yes. I'm fine with abandoning Earth. It hasn't given me anything. But not on his terms. Not ever. Don't worry, Mercury. I've got a plan. No matter what, it won't go his way. Interesting. Why is this rich-ass cishet white boy in the queer space group becoming a human that humans are not? Yeah, that's a really good line. Alright. Ganymede intercept. Do not read Saturn. Bridge Information Officer Mercury. I probably should have read this before going to comms, but I always just want to rush and talk to Mercury after we complete a mission. I'm completely uninterested in communicating with Iapetus in any capacity that's not technically. I know my boundaries, but you are very nice to worry. I know you're not jealous because you do respect me, but don't make me worry. It's what I like about you. I know you're worried for me, not about me, and I appreciate that. But I do want to clarify things so you stop asking me about it, even though it is cute and I do appreciate it, really. I'm not just saying that. Please don't hear that in a passive-aggressive voice. But I've been meaning to ask this for a while. Is it okay that I believe in this? It's important to me that you understand that it's nothing to do with him. So I worry that means that you don't understand what it means for me. I don't believe humanity needs to be punished. I'm fine being human. But I think it's an important reminder is needed. Not alien in the sense of a foreign other that can bear all of our rage and hatred, but alien in the sense of casting our own features into relief. I think what we see as a result should shame us. But there are many things we need to see. You'll probably say you support me and believe in me. Thank you. But you'll also say that it means something to you too. And it's really why I love you. String of pearls. Final specifications. Iapetus message intercept. Celestial mechanics ship self-design. This is not what we talked about. Not by a mile. You know I don't actually have a moral compass that does not revolve around what's cool. So coming from me, just know that it's my professional opinion that I'm not even sure that this is cool anymore. Creating a theoretical matter is not even hard under laboratory conditions, and in space it's easy to sustain it. But the creation of exotic matter like electrotoxins can get really not fun if you aren't careful. Since you hate fun, I already know that's not what you're after, and you don't have to level with me or anything. It's fine. But I do want you to know that this thing is basically designed to degenerate as quickly as possible. The reactor tends towards eversion, and that will require a pilot I really would not want to meet, and a piloting style that no one should ever do. Eventually it's going to drag the pilot down, and that's going to be really weird and ugly unless they are immediately destroyed. Clearly you want that. I mean, you've said so. But if they're going to have so much fun, let me try to convince you that you should set a self-destruct in there. Maybe something will happen when she everts and the ship self keeps her anchored in space-time to mess everything up. If it's not, don't you want a backup option? Alright, let's become stars. Emails first is definitely good practice. Not always important, but sometimes helpful. Mercury, like, I know I'm tired and snarky all the time, but I promise I'm not being snarky here. Yeah, he needed a major asterisk for that conversation. Maybe this should put a bomb in Saturn's mech. This guy who sucks. Alright, let me drink some water and then we'll do this chapter. The whole colony? It's so refreshing to see you surprised for once, Saturn. I'm soaking it in. Haha, Mercury. But seriously? He wants me to stop Cradle's Graces from taking the entire colony out of the Lagrange point? Why? Why would they do that? Why would we care enough to stop them from trying? FYI, this is the one choice that I would deviate on if I was opting for full loyal Saturn. Okay. I'll keep that in mind. The colony should just rot. It's over. There's nothing left there. They're both really good. I'll look at the options and I will choose the one that I want to read. Everything else I was doing has been thrown out the window too. Like, what do I want to read right now? Because if I'm going to stay up and read it, I might as well do the one that I want to read. Cradle's Graces wants those memories to live again. We need to discard Earth completely and start something new. It's an anchor pulling us back home. The success of opening the gravity well on the moon will depend completely on how much is holding us down, even weak gravity like that. It's more than just stopping her then. You want me to destroy the colony. That's the mission, yes. Not that I'm the greatest, but isn't that basically impossible for me? It's huge. There's smaller moons. Do your best then. The less memories, the better. I thought you didn't have any problems. The colony should just rot. It's a funny joke. We both went through the same shit, don't ask me that. Every happy memory is made retroactively disgusting by that sort of person Iapetus turned out to be. I hate him so much. I will never get over how much. Saturn. Yes, Mercury? Why are you still pretending to be with celestial mechanics? Why are you doing this is the real question, Mercury. You know him like I do, so why are you still here? I apparently have enough power to destroy a colony, and I can ditch him whenever I want. Leave celestial mechanics, take Ganymede, I'll protect you. I'll make sure there's a good future in the end. You absolutely will not be fine if I leave. Of course I don't trust him at all, but he wants what I want. It's what you want too. I can't trust him on anything else, but I can trust him on that. Even if he's just doing this for his own gain with some other agenda in mind, he's truly going to give us this. Disgusting. That's what I fell for, so stop reminding me. That's why I trust you too, of course, even though I shouldn't. I know you won't accept anything less than what you want. If you can get even half of that, it'll be more than enough for me. Okay, here's our choices. Battle in physical space for the future, or battle in narrative space for each other. How can I read that line and not want to pick that one? It's such a good mission name. It really is. And those kind of things just tug at my literary heartstrings. Sorry, Mercury. Saturn rushes in because Pluto is ready for this kind of fight. This is not what I was expecting. Like, you're kidding, right? No. Pluto isn't joking. The farthest thing. The swirl of cosmic nebula dust that completely obscures the colony in Pluto's warm embrace is no punchline. Only insofar as it is true that Pluto is so strong it's funny. The colony no longer resembles Earth. Now it's a gas giant, or maybe a star waiting to be born. Whatever the case, even though it's certainly much too late to do anything about it, there's an invitation from inside. Just come try. You must think I'm really dumb. Or you must have a lot of faith in me, in which case you're really dumb. It could be Saturn's perfect opportunity. She plays her cards right. Pluto's putting everything she has and more into just attempting to move the colony. If Saturn can find her, she'll be helpless. And how am I supposed to do that with you filling up the whole universe? Your story is everywhere, pulling at everything. How am I supposed to compete with gravity so strong even the narrative of space-time is bending? Oh, hi there, Saturn. Are you just passing through? Hi. Fancy meeting you here. How did you know it was me? Weird to find you in the middle of an inconceivable cosmic cloud only you could create. I know. What a coincidence. I've sort of been ordered to fire on anyone in it, though. I think this might make things awkward if you try to get closer. You could at least pretend to be a little afraid of me. I am. Just a little. But even if I should be, I'm glad to see you. Hope that's not a lie. On either part. No, it isn't. I know you're dangerous and very special. And you wouldn't be here if you couldn't stop me. Even if you're not quite ready for how hard that will be. I'm very impressed that you didn't decide to sneak up on me while I was thinking, though. It would have been a good chance. Oh, are you maybe having second thoughts? I was hoping I could convince you to destroy this place with me. You're impossible. It's adorable. You're incorrigible. I like it a lot, actually. I even envy it a little. Oh. Thank you. I was just being difficult. Which is very charming of me. But I was half serious, too. Nope. Never. I was almost tempted, though. I don't know what your memories of this place are like. They're bad and good, right? Always a little worse than better. It's the same for me, but this place is still precious to me. It was a seed of life once, and maybe it can bloom again. So I'm going to protect it. Oh, that reminds me. What are you here for? Do you mind if I ask a personal question? What are you trying to do with it? I'm going to not destroy it. Phew, that's what I was worried about. I really know when I'm beat, so I'll just be... Hey, stop right there. What? I was just trying to banter. You tried to shoot me. That's dangerous. I didn't. You were thinking about it. Of course. Well, she was. More like Saturn was trying to get a bead on Pluto. The string of pearls tides ripple through Pluto's nebula cloud, hoping there's something it can find eventually. It's not like Pluto is hiding. She's just everywhere, and it's hard to tell where she ends or begins. Aren't you thinking about shooting me too? You're the one with the advantage on visibility. I'm just sitting here and I can't find you in that cloud. Oh, you're totally right. Dear super weapon of Cradle's graces, are you actually a little naive? I gave you the benefit of the doubt. Was that wrong? Obviously. Sorry, I've never learned to be on my guard. There's no need to be when I can tell what people are thinking and nothing can touch me. If it really actually worked like that, you'd absolutely never trust anyone, ever. No, I trust everyone. I can always trust people to do what they always do. Do you think you can trust someone to surprise you? Can you trust them to do something you wouldn't even think of? It's when they surprise me that I'm the happiest of all. That's when I really feel we're not doomed, set in stone, always making the same mistakes. I'm being stupid and following my heart, just like you. You're going to have to do better than shoot at me if you want to surprise me. There are other ways to fight. You're better at that than me. I think you can surprise me. Is that what you want? On Earth, our souls are weighed down by gravity. At the same time, gravity holds us together, tells us who we are, good things and bad. The Earth's gravity is strong because it's all of us together. Forces that would be insignificant on their own are powerful enough to make a planet when we hold it together. That's why we are much stronger on Earth. Even the weakest human has the sacred light of the soul and its many powers, to forbid direct contact with the soul, to wield the arts and sciences in shaping existence, to be many and also one. In space, our gravity is weak. Without the constant pressure of tidal reactors, our souls would dissolve the way that water, at high enough altitudes, will evaporate off a pilot's tongue without atmospheric pressure to remind it to be water. Stories bleed into each other easily, and our shapes don't hold steady. The fragility of our ships couldn't survive a moment on Earth. In space, there are things we could never do on Earth. With our heaviness, we could never be so tender. Okay, I get it. Let's pick up from earlier, but fight in the way only pilots can fight. In the way only us, close to the edge of being human, can fight that isn't frightening at all. Do you feel the same way, Pluto? You are listening, right? I was going to tell you. I don't have time to play today, but it sounds like you know I still want to anyway. That's going to make it harder to convince you to leave me alone and let me do this. You are here to play, right? No. No convincing me. I can pick up on the subtext. Blame it on the wicked celestial mechanics pilot who bothered you and didn't let you get any work done. The thing is, it's fun. More fun than hacking. To bleed, corrode, seep into mist. Saturn can feel every particle and the celestial physics that make them move. It's a swelling orchestration. Pluto is conducting something beautiful, something overwhelming. And the equations are hints and patterns to how Pluto thinks, to where she might be. It's simple to trace back. Easier than hacking, too. Space is boring. Space is empty. Space is broken. Space will never give us everything we want. Space is a hope that what we want to make real might already be out there. Just reach out in space and time and we can almost touch it. Space is just a means to an end, but for a moment, Saturn is overwhelmed with how beautiful even the boring, dead, empty space can be. Even just the way that dust moves around. That's when Saturn realizes she is lost. She went in to tear open the story, twist it around, and instead, she got so lost and happy in it. She didn't even notice the clouds swirling around her, the cosmic dust covering her, Pluto holding her tenderly. Pulled into the atmosphere of the colony, they orbit gently. Saturn has no reason to fight. It doesn't even feel like she lost. It feels like she won something special. Okay. Okay, Saturn. Open your cockpit. Why? Because I trust you. Do you trust me? I do. The same way you trust me. No. I trust you way dumber than you trust me. You're so amazing. And so much more amazing because you believe in something like being human. You pour your everything into something that won't pay off. That makes me mad. But then sometimes, I think it might work. Saturn's cockpit opens. Naked guts, exposed circuits. Krun Macula's thumb presses against Saturn and the distended cockpit exploring. Oh no. You're really hooked in there good. Why would you ever do such a thing to yourself? You don't have to answer. I understand. Your cheek feels human and soft. Wow. Suddenly I don't feel like moving the colony much. Maybe not destroyed any more than it was before will be good enough. Why am I doing this? I need to get back to my post. But you look so nice like this. I want to get closer. Is that okay? No, I guess I shouldn't. That's so... What a brazen move. Okay. Okay. Maybe you really win this time. It's January 30th, 1981. And the day is almost here. The deadline to save everyone who came up to space with us, fought with us, tried to bring everyone up with this. If we shut down the lunar gravity, there won't be any choice left. The power that keeps our ship selves in check will fall apart and we won't have anywhere else to go but home. If we kill the dream, no one will die. We really, really hope that's true. No one should die in space. No one should die, period. No one has to die, because ship self-combat is shimmering missiles of light, cosmic explosions, electricity that sears through the soul. Blade science is impossible for humans to produce, dances of combat without end. A fight against ideas with toys. Humans would never show that sort of compassion to each other. Earth's answer is a single atomic particle fired at near light speed directly into the cockpit core. A true weapon from a military force. The quickest, most efficient, instantaneous, unavoidable way to kill a human. The most boring possible way to pointlessly die. No drama, no meaning, just nothing. Lunaterra Memorial Foundation Ace Pilot. It's January 30th, 1981. In the end, they might well everything they want in the way that no one wants. If we open up the lunar gravity, well, then we can establish forever another Earth, and maybe another. We can inhabit the whole system. But that will cut humanity into two and more. The distance will be so much further. Everything we have will be even farther from them. How much are we going to lose? How much will we never be able to give them? The moon is very close to being part of Earth. It's full of life. And humans can live here now. It feels impossible, and I don't want to give it up. We should break it off forever, shouldn't we? All I want is to stitch these two humanities together. But if one of us dies as a result, I will fight forever to keep that precious thing alive. Pluto, Princess of Cradle's Graces. It's January 30th, 1981. They don't name it because naming it gives it power, but not naming it gives it more. It must be in every corner, behind every door, far, far away in the spaces between stars. It is defined and categorized in every human culture, and it is deliberately omitted from explicit naming conventions by Memorial Foundation in favor of a euphemism less captivating to the imagination, such as existential threat, rather than a specific word that would stimulate the imagination. But a trick like this will not work, and the euphemism is a hollow void that can hold all fears and all possibilities. Through gravity, humans decide what is real and what is not. But what is not does not stop existing, and it, like humans, can decide. It's the kiss of inverse. Everything that humans can imagine but can't become. The shortcut to attaining it is to forsake everything that humans already are. If a bunch of idiots get tricked into going there, it would make a very convenient enemy for Earth. That's their real fear. Before that happens, I'll tell you a secret. Ready? Saturn, Celestial Mechanics Test Pilot. Route installation complete. New OS in operation. Celestial Mechanics fleet collecting in the orbit of Earth's moon. Request for assistance received. Ignore. Awaiting manual input of mission parameters. Assist Cradle's Graces and Celestial Mechanics with the opening of the gravity well and changing gravitational constants to make conflict with Earth possible. Mission created. Get in as much trouble as possible with the Memorial Foundation ACE. Mission created. Calculating gravitational slingshot data from server hack. Ready for launch? Why? Accepted. Normalizing gravitational slingshot effect. Prepare for immediate launch to Earth's moon. Alright, so it's a little split. So if we don't choose Celestial Mechanics, that's definitely going to shift things. So that's something to keep in mind. My question, because it's 11 here now, how far am I from hitting a first ending? Again, you're being impossible right now. Two more and then the ending. Oh, can I stay up for two more? Yeah, 2 more days, I think, yeah. Okay, I will try it because I don't think I'm going to stream tomorrow. 4 more missions. Oh, okay, 4 missions plus 2. Okay, I forgot that it was 2 per day. That's probably too much for me to do in one night. I'll read the comms and the mail, but I'll leave the missions for the next time I stream, which will either be tomorrow, but more likely might be Thursday because I have some stuff I gotta do tomorrow. Yeah, it might be a bit much. All right, let's read our mail. Why Children? Memorial Foundation Space Program Documentation. Director Nix. They aren't children anymore, but when they were pilots, they were for all the obvious reasons that children are more suited to be pilots than adults. Since the decline of the space program, there have been fewer and fewer waves of new recruits, and the current pilot generations have no successors. Adults are serving as pilots because there are no longer any children in space, and adults should not have to serve as pilots. It would be cruel to send children to fight a war so that adults don't have to, especially as adults have far more powerful tidal forces than children. In their physical and metaphorical manifestation, tides are the measurement of the authority that culture has over the universe, the light of the soul that turns all impossible things into our dominion. The gravitational forces of children are weak enough to perceive and engage the existential threat without obliterating it instantly. And as a cancer that exerts a subtle influence in the back of our unknowing minds, they are suited to protect us from it. For this reason, Memorial Foundation has pushed against traditional cultural institutions for engaging existential threats with this more humane practice, due to the resiliency of children and detrimental long-term affects contact with existential threats has on adults in the vast majority of cases. In some exceptional circumstances, contamination lingers in children. Their gravitational forces never achieve sufficient power to extinguish the existential threat without resistance, without the tidal force to challenge other adults. They remain in limbo, unsuited to anything else. The remaining small percentage of the original pilot program that continues to reside in space is made of such cases. Okay, let's see. It's just 2 more missions, but still maybe a good time to pause. If it's just the last 2 missions, then maybe doable, but could still be a stretch. Because we're at 25. I'm still leaning towards pausing because I'm tired. That's the only reason. If I wasn't tired, I would just power through it. Even if it was the 4 cases. New aversion proposal. Memorial Foundation Central classified. Extract. Memorial Foundation Celestial Mechanics. Thank you. I'm no different from my former colleagues. I think we all want the same thing, ultimately. Every one of us. I'd implore you to be forgiving of them, though, not of their methods. Many of us are thankful for the ending of the Cold War, the paranoia and suspicion that accompanied the strength of the existential threat in this world, as it fed on the trauma and malaise and discontent of the world after the war. But I think some of us must have some reservation about the future. In abandoning existential threats to address the threats of our home, it will inevitably result in us turning to conflict between humans once more, and in turn, the existential threat will thrive. We are looking for the smoothest, most uncontested future. I won't lie. This will not ensure happiness for everyone. In fact, it will be difficult to understate how much it will ensure the opposite for what we will ensure are very few. But what I'm proposing will ensure the maximum happiness for the maximum number of people. And what else can we do? Okay, so I'd recommend leaving comms for next time. Yeah, pausing I think is best. That way you're rested and awake for actually enjoying the final missions of the route. Should be a good way to start. Naiapidus sucks. Alright, so we're going to leave comms. Is it going to autosave or do I need to hit save somewhere? I can do this. There we go. This little fascist. I'm being So utilitarian bullshit rhetoric. Worst man in the universe. Yeah, it's a good thing I was like, wait, where do I go to save? And now I'm having that like, wait, did I save kind of moment. Okay, let's switch screens. No, not that one. We're not going to be right back. We are sleepy moon time. I didn't process that you hadn't saved the whole time. Yeah, that's probably like not a good thing that I didn't save, just in case was some glitchy shenanigans happening. So I need to remember to do that in the future. Probably should just like drop a save after each day is completed. I'm really liking the game so far. Like I can tell like it's made by the same people, but narratively like they're going so deeper into everything. It's really interesting, and the art is incredible. The music is also really good. I think the music that played when we were underwater with Pluto, that sequence, that was so good. That was probably like my favorite track that we heard. It just builds like such good tension. The ticky clicky one, yeah, that one. It's so good. Like it's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna need to put this OST on in the background while I do stuff. Oxygen Ocean is a fan fave for sure. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm not surprised that I'm the only one who really likes that one. It even has a single. Oh, good. I need to seek it out then. I like the characters so far. I'm very curious what playing as the other characters is going to be like, because I've just gotten so used to Saturn as being the focal point that I can't really imagine it coming from someone else's perspective. And then I mean, this game feels just massive compared to the other one because there's multiple endings per character, and or at least it seems that way. Yeah, I'm very into it. I'm glad I started playing this one, and I'm looking forward to reading more. All right, I have a cat in the middle of this desk, so I need to start wrapping up. Yeah, you'll get a lot more insight on the other routes and different vibes and some new character. Oh yeah, well, because obviously, like we have Mercury here with Saturn, but it wouldn't make sense for Mercury to be involved in the other routes. So seeing who else we're going to meet, probably people who have been alluded to, I imagine, will pop up. That'll be very fun. Movie Mine is absolutely huge compared to We Know the Devil. Yeah, We Know the Devil was great to get me back into doing visual novels because it's much more self-contained, but it still has a lot of depth to it. This one's going to take me a bit longer. If I was more rested, I could have probably done a route in a night, but I definitely, even if I was doing this in the daytime, I could not power through even just one character's full story in a day. I think because I like to read it out loud. Like that's too much reading out loud for my voice. You can do every route of We Know the Devil in like the time it takes to do one. Yep. From what I remember of the record time length for that one, I think the full time was over 4 hours, but that's because we kept hitting every single glitch that existed. I think if that hadn't happened, it would have been shorter. Usually rec people split the runs in half. Yeah. I have a good feeling about it though. It's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to when I hop back in. Alright. Thanks for coming by, Says God Empress. I will be back either tomorrow or Thursday. And I'll probably play a couple more times this week, and then Sunday we'll get back to crosswords unless something happens that means I don't do it. I'm glad I made it for at least part. Yeah, and the VOD will be up if you were curious of what the earlier half of it was like. I don't think I follow anyone who's streaming right now, so I'm probably just gonna cut us off. Yeah, and I'm the only one on the tag too. Alright, so good night everybody, thanks for coming, and I will see you both when I get around to playing some more. Take care, bye.